I think it just evolves over years. And I think also realizing that in this day and age, you need something for people to kind of catch on to.
Right.
And like, if you want to talk about it on like a commercial aspect, is like, what sets you apart from other people? Realistically, who are you? And this is kind of moving away from this is kind of moving more in the commercial aspect. But like, okay, if I talk to producers and they speak about my music, they're like, I absolutely love your drums, and I love like the gospel vocals you use. Like, I'll go into sessions and I'll get people like that I write for and stuff like that. They're like, we're writing like more of a commercial record, but we want your drums on it. We want you to do this. We want you to bring like a little bit more of an underground to it. So it's like, okay, like maybe that's what I'm known for. I don't know. Like, I think everybody has their own perception of what your sound is. And at the end of the day, I can't control that. The only thing for me to create a sound is consistency on how I produce and what I use to produce. So let's say on my like club stuff, like I have a drum machine here. Like, I use that drum machine pretty much on every record. That gives me a sonic sound that can be the Will Clark sound. And I think it's very easy to as a producer to just go in the studio and just start writing a bunch of shit. But there also comes, I'm not talking about thinking about the audience, but I'm talking about the brand. And it's how do you keep a consistency to your brand, which I think is so important. There's so many artists that jump from sound to sound because it's popular and because they think that's going to give them success. And realistically, that doesn't give you a brand. People don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Go listen to like James Blake. Go listen to Moby. Go listen to Faithless. Go listen to like Chemical Brothers. All the iconic people in Rolling Stones, Beatles, like all of these people that like have had extreme success. Calvin Harris. Like, there's something on every single. There's a consistency to what they do that allows the audience to feel comfortable. No one likes change.
Yes.
No one likes change.
It's almost like
Go for it.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say it's almost like the brand is a. I interview a lot of brand founders in like building brands that would go into supermarkets and stuff. But like, it's almost like the brand is a promise. And as you said, you don't like consumers or listeners don't like change. One thing I'm obsessed with the Beatles. I mean, you don't probably see the thing behind me, but what I liked about the Beatles is they were consistent and they had that unique kind of Lennon-McCartney sound, and just that was almost. That partnership was a bit like your drum behind you. It was consistently there, but they also evolved and kind of ripped up the rule book, whether you go from like, So that's one thing I think is like super interesting. So like, I think it was the podcast. I don't know. It was one I listened to. I think it was in May. I can't remember which one it was, but you were talking about how quickly music evolves, and you have to evolve with it. So how do you keep the consistency of the Will Clark brand yet evolve because the sound changes so fucking quickly? Do you know what I mean?
I don't evolve with the sound. I don't necessarily agree with having to evolve with the sound.
Right.
I agree with evolving as an artist, and evolving as a person when it comes to doing what makes you happy. It's like chefs, right?
Yeah.
Like, we all know how to make money in the food industry. Open a fast food joint.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? But how many chefs? Like, one of my best friends has like James Beard Awards, like voted best restaurant in America, top 10 best restaurant in America. Super, like, really great high end restaurant.
What's it called?
Khan
in
Portland.
Oh, sick.
It's Gregory Gaudet's restaurant. But again, like, I was talking to him, he won't mind me saying this, but like, finances are fucking rough. He's booked every night. Every night is fucking full. But still to run that, it's like finances. It's impossible. And every high-end restaurant has exactly the same. There was a Michelin-starred restaurant called Casimir in Bristol. Like, I think it was 1 or 2 Michelin star. Like they had to like close it down because it just costs too much money to run, and they're not making the profits. They opened 2 separate restaurants that are like less Michelin starry, but a little bit like more, but still very good, but just not as high end. And yeah, they're making more money from it, and they can sustain a business. But there's what I'm kind of getting at with that correlation is that like you can chase the trends, you can chase the money, and there's artists that do it very well. Same in the food world. There's people that do it very well and can chase that money, chase that branding. Look at Matty Matheson, like what he's done with his restaurants. But most of his restaurants are based on fast food. And then he's only got prime steak in Canada, that in Toronto, that's like the high end restaurant. But like you could, as an artist, you can go and copy trends, but then you're not an artist.
Yeah.
You're just going with what fits commercially to sell music, to sell tickets. And there's some people that do it very well, and I really respect it. But I don't think that's true artistry.